Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to check that out. It's going to be in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, let's jump straight into the TA. Taking a look at the daily chart, we have the exact same Fibonacci retracement from the swing high in May 2021 and the swing low in March 2020. If you don't know how to use the Fibonacci retracement, make sure you check out the description. There's going to be a video linked where I explained how to use the Fibonacci retracement, how to set up support and resistance levels based on the Fib retracement. Assuming you have watched that, let's continue. So zooming into the daily chart here, you can see that we had a perfect bounce off the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement back in June last year. We had a nice move to the upside, and then we came back retracing all the way to the golden ratio here at $8.80, another perfect bounce. And we had another move to the upside, and once again, just like back in September, we're running into the 0.786 in February this year. So this 786 Fibonacci retracement at $15.60 is a major resistance level that we have failed to break through actually 3 times in September last year, in November, and right now in February. So hopefully the next time we come to attack that level, we're going to break through impulsively and come back and retest hopefully this potential previous support as resistance at $20.40. That's the idea here. And as you can see, we have pulled back down below some of the support levels that we targeted in the last video. So we're below the previous resistance of the descending broadening wedge. We're below $12.48, which was another support level. And as you can see, we are about to print a bearish cross on the daily chart as long as the price action doesn't get back above the 55 or the 20 EMA. We are printing a bearish cross, which is the 20 EMA crossing below the 55. And that is basically your downtrend confirmation. The last time that this happened, as you can see, was back in November last year. Since then, we've seen a pullback for around about a month. We've been coming back down here, and then we had that breakout from December into January. So maybe something similar will play out where we come back down, we retrace for a month, and then in April and May, we start coming back up and potentially breaking $20. Hopefully, that's what happens. Now, if this pullback continues, we could be looking at potentially $8.79 retested once again, which is the exact level that we retested back in December before having that move to the upside. So this was an incredible entry that I gave you before we retested it. I told you that the golden ratio is going to be a very good buying level, and from that golden ratio, you could have made 75% in a month or so, or a bit more than a month. So if Bitcoin decides to continue dropping, if Silvergate, for example, goes bankrupt, we could be seeing a strong flash crash, and maybe Cosmos Atom even dips back down below $8. You do have a support block here from $8 down to $7.37. Potentially, we could wick down there, all the way down there. So just make sure you have buy limit orders set up in advance just in case that happens, because you could be sleeping and Silvergate announces their bankruptcy, and you wake up in the morning and Cosmos has went back down to $8 and now it's sitting back up at 10, right? Because it does recover quite quickly. These flash crashes, they have a strong capitulation and then a move to the upside. So you want to catch this as well. So you can do that by setting up buy limit orders in advance. That's one thing. So we have $11.22. We have $10.60. Those are a couple of support levels to target. Below that, we of course have the golden ratio here at $8.80. And I would say anything below $8 is very cheap for Cosmos. That's just my opinion. Long term, obviously, we are looking at $160 in the next bull market. We'll take a look at that in just a second on the Binance chart. Now, jumping into the daily RSI. So we're coming close. We actually bounced relatively close from the pink trend line that we were targeting in the previous videos. I've been talking about this trend line for a while, and we came very close to it, and we saw a move to the upside. It wasn't a very strong move per se, but still that was a potential swing trade or a potential short-term trade that you could have taken. Now, I would be targeting the yellow support trend line here as well at 34.1 because we've had one bounce in November last year and one bounce in December. And if we even go lower than that, then below the index of 30, you're oversold. And you can see what happened here when we were oversold back in May and April of last year. We saw a very strong move to the upside into September. We got overbought in a few months. So potentially the same thing is going to play out here where we bottom out in May, April, and then we have a strong move into August. And I'm just saying that potentially Silvergate could be that flash crash or could be that black swan event that, well, it's not really a black swan event because everyone is either expecting it to go bankrupt or not. But yeah, just have this in mind, draw these support levels out just so you know where to place the buy orders. And obviously, as you know, you place your buy orders slightly above the support level, not exactly at the support level price. Now, let's switch over to the Binance weekly chart. And before we continue with the video, guys, I quickly want to give a shout out to everyone who has joined my Patreon. Thank you very much. And if you want to become a part of the Patreon and, get access to a lot of exclusive content, such as podcast episodes for patrons only, my trade alerts, my entire portfolio. I share everything that I buy and everything that I sell. If you want to leave some requests, we can take a look at your projects on Patreon. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on there. I try to do daily updates and daily posts in there. So if you want to try it out for free, you can do that as well. There's a 7-day free trial, so you can do that and let me know what you think. Let's get on with the video. Taking a look at the weekly chart on Binance, I'll quickly remove some of these drawings here just so we can have a clear picture of what's going on. You can see that we have multiple touches off of this ascending support trend line on the weekly chart. We had one bounce in March of 2020, we had one bounce in June of 2022, and we had another bounce in December of 2022. And as you can see, every time you touch this trend line, you see an impulsive move to the upside. So potentially, once we start pulling back down, we might just bounce off of $10 here and have another impulsive move to the upside. That is something that could happen because historically, every time we touched it, we had a bounce to the upside. But of course, if Bitcoin drops to $15,000, I would say it's fairly possible that we're gonna drop and lose this ascending weekly support trend line, which really would be negative because it's been holding us up for a very long time. I don't really want to lose this. But if Bitcoin drops, then obviously altcoins will follow regardless. And this low here at $6.50 is potentially something that we could retest in case of a capitulation. So be ready for those lows to be retested. But for now, Cosmos is moving impulsively to the upside. And we really need to break this September high to continue this local uptrend. Because for an uptrend, you need higher highs and higher lows. We've got two lows. One is higher than the other, but we don't have a higher high. And this is something that we need to see. And we're losing the 20 EMA on the weekly. That's also quite negative. So hopefully Cosmos has its own little bull market here and continues. But I really don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to be coming back down. Now, if I drop in a Elliott wave theory here, as you can see, we do have our wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3 is supposed to be the biggest wave of the entire structure, and it doesn't seem like that's going to be playing out. So if we come back down to wave 2 here, then the structure is invalidated, and obviously this is not something that we're going to be targeting, but so far it has been playing out very accurately. I drew this out a long time ago before it started playing out, and as you can see, it played out pretty accurately. We had a nice bounce here off of this support. We went to the upside, and I really thought during spring Cosmos would explode towards, $20, $25. But that did not happen, obviously. So let's see what's going to happen. Hopefully, we see lower prices. If Cosmos drops back to $6.50, I'm telling you, I'm going to be buying so many tokens. Jumping into the weekly RSI, you can see that we broke above a resistance level here, but we're coming back down, and this red support block is something that I'm going to be targeting. So on the RSI between 43 and 40, you can potentially look for entries. Not a financial advice, but you've seen lots of bounces from this red support block. And you had one fake out below here, but that was during the Terra Luna crash. So maybe with a Silvergate bankruptcy, we could go lower, or maybe there are some news coming out regarding Binance that could drop the markets. And just be aware that these things can happen out of the blue. And just because we think the markets aren't going to come down, that doesn't mean that they're not really going to come down. You know, you can't control the markets just because you think that they're, not going to pull back just because we went up so much. That's not how the markets work. If we drop in a Fibonacci retracement from the low we printed in June last year to the high in January last year, we are looking at $161 at the 1.618 Fib retracement. From where we are right now, that's a 1,200% move to the upside. From the bottom in June last year, that's a 3,000%, 2,800% to the upside. Maybe we go higher up to $200 potentially. That could be the case, but I really think the Cosmos and the Polkadot ecosystems are going to be doing very well the next bull market, so we may even see a $200 Cosmos. We'll see how things go, but for now, that's everything I had for this update. If I missed out anything important, please let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next update.